Sarah stared at the ceiling, watching the morning light creep across its surface. Her alarm had gone off 20 minutes ago, but her limbs felt like they were filled with concrete. Another day of fighting the invisible enemy that had taken residence in her body 3 years ago. Just 5 more minutes, she whispered to herself, knowing full well that 5 would become 15, and 15 would become 30. The battle began anew each morning. Her phone buzzed. A text from her boss. Team meeting moved up to 9. Can you make it? Sarah closed her eyes, summoning the energy to type yes, 3 letters. A simple commitment that felt like promising to climb a mountain. At 34, Sarah had once been the person who woke up at 5 a.m. for a run before heading a marketing team at a bustling tech startup. Her colleagues had nicknamed her the Energizer for her seemingly boundless enthusiasm and drive. Now, she carefully counted her energy tokens each day, the finite resources she had to spend on basic tasks. A shower, 3 tokens. Making breakfast, 2 tokens. The commute, 5 tokens. The workday itself often left her in debt, borrowing from tomorrow's already limited supply. Chronic fatigue syndrome isn't real, her first doctor had said with thinly veiled skepticism. You're just stressed. Maybe try yoga? She had tried yoga, and meditation, and elimination diets, and supplements that cost more than her car payment. Nothing made the exhaustion lift completely. Sarah finally managed to swing her legs over the side of the bed, sitting up slowly to avoid the dizziness that often accompanied sudden movements. Her cat, Max, rubbed against her ankles as if offering encouragement for this small victory. At least someone understands, she murmured, scratching him behind the ears. The kitchen felt miles away, but she knew that skipping breakfast would only make things worse. Coffee was both ally and enemy. The temporary boost came with a price she'd pay later. Her phone rang. It was Dr. Patel, the 7th specialist she'd seen, but the first one who had truly listened. Sarah? I've been reviewing your case with some colleagues. There's a new treatment protocol we'd like to discuss. It's showing promise in similar cases. Hope, that dangerous, fragile emotion, flickered inside her chest. Sarah had learned to protect herself from disappointment, but couldn't help the warmth spreading through her body. What kind of protocol? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady. It's a combination approach: low-dose naltrexone, pacing therapy, targeted supplementation. Not a cure, but possibly a better management system. Could you come in next week? Sarah glanced at her work calendar on the fridge, the color-coded blocks representing the careful rationing of her limited energy. Wednesday afternoon, she suggested. Perfect. And Sarah, bring someone with you if you can. It helps to have another set of ears. After hanging up, Sarah sat quietly at her kitchen table, watching the steam rise from her coffee mug. Who would she bring? Her parents lived across the country and still referred to her condition as that tired thing. Her friends had gradually drifted away when she could no longer maintain the social calendar of her former life. There was Daniel, though, her next-door neighbor who had begun checking in on her after noticing her struggle with groceries one day. He had quietly researched her condition, sometimes leaving articles or helpful gadgets at her door without fanfare. Just yesterday, he'd brought over a meal prep service brochure saying, "Thought this might help on your bad days." Sarah picked up her phone and texted him about Dr. Patel's appointment. His response came quickly. "I'll rearrange my meetings. Just tell me when." For the first time in months, Sarah felt something shift inside her. Not a cure, or even relief, but something equally vital. The realization that while her journey was solitary in many ways, she wasn't completely alone in it. She took a deep breath and began her morning routine, moving at the pace her body demanded. Today would be challenging, as all days were, but there was now a pinpoint of light ahead, not at the end of the tunnel, but perhaps illuminating a more navigable path through it. As she carefully applied her makeup, another mask to hide her invisible illness from the world, Sarah made a decision. Today, she would use one of her precious energy tokens to start a blog. Perhaps her words could reach someone else drowning in the same silent battle, someone who needed to know they weren't fighting alone. because that was the cruelest part of chronic illness, not just the symptoms themselves, but the isolation that came with them. The world continued its frantic pace while you were forced to move in slow motion, watching life happen from behind glass. Sarah gathered her things, took her medications, and stepped outside into the morning air. The weight of fatigue pressed down on her shoulders like always, but today, somehow, it felt just a fraction lighter. The battle wasn't over, it might never be, but today she had found a new weapon: hope.